Thank you for tuning your radio to WVLP here in Valparaiso, Indiana at 103.1 low power FM. Low power, but not low energy. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, and you are about to hear delayed audio coverage of Revolution Championship Wrestling's event, A Night to Remember, from Saturday, November 18th at the Goodson Event Center in South Bend, Indiana. It's the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, which shows up sporadically after Mostly Metal when I have the opportunity to go out and record audio at these events. So that's what you're about to hear, wrestling on the radio. So if you're in a place to do this, I recommend sitting down in something comfortable, comfortable clothing and a comfortable chair. Dim the lights, just kind of tip your head back and imagine you're in the room and you'll be listening to highlights as they occur. I do need to correct a couple of verbal boo-boos that I made during this recording. I mentioned a couple of times that this event was the year-end event for Revolution Championship Wrestling, and that was not correct. They have another event coming up in December, I believe December 9th, and it's called Winter Warfare. So wherever I make some sort of comment like, this person is finishing the year as the champion, or this is the year-end event for Revolution Championship Wrestling, that is just nonsense. So you can ignore it. Otherwise, sit back, enjoy, and take part in Wrestling on the Radio on the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. Starting a show off by letting Nelson Edward Robert Doolittle come out and talk to the crowd is certainly a choice, and it was made. And with that, let's get this thing underway. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. This is A Night to Remember, the year-end show for Revolution Championship Wrestling. It's taking place in one of my happy places, the Goodson Event Center in South Bend, Indiana. Nelson Edward Robert Doolittle V taking on Solo in this opening match. Trying to conserve airspace here because it could be a long night. We got 10 matches in front of us. And I need to be able to compress it down to an hour, so not wasting any time. Solo is not wasting any time. He has just done running splashes onto NERD. And there, just a running elbow uppercut. I've not seen Solo before. I have seen Nerd the Fifth too many times. And so far, it looks like Solo is going to get him out of the ring pretty quickly. So I'm in favor of Solo and what he's doing. Well, Nelson has turned things around. He just hit Solo with a neck breaker. Got a 2 count out of it. It's always awkward to describe him in his matches because his name is really long. Nelson Edward Robert Doolittle V. That's a mouthful. But I don't want to call him Nerd because I think I was a nerd. I have favorite people who are nerds, and I don't want to give him nerd status based on the way he behaves. So maybe just Nelson is okay. Nelson tried 3 times to get Solo up into a DDT, and eventually Solo just reversed it and gave Nelson a big backflip up and over, and you heard him crash down to the mat. There's a nice chop to the chest.
And then Solo introduces Nelson's forehead to the mat. I just missed the 3 count. Solo went for, looked like it was going to be a code red, but he was very close to the ropes. And Nelson was able to sort of halt the code red and roll up Solo with the assist of the ropes for the 3 count. Solo pleads his case to the ref, but as we know, that never works. You might as well ask the NFL refs to call back a pass interference call in the end zone. This next match is going to be Tyler Matthews taking on, I believe, Tony Thunder. Let's see what kind of reaction he gets. It's usually pretty good. Look at that. This match starts off with a nice sportsmanlike handshake. Tyler Matthews must have just come here straight from his gig as a magician. He is all in black. Long black pants, black boots, black tank top. Tony Thunder, black pants, white sneakers, and a blue basketball-type tank top on the upper half. The fashion is not important, but you know, what the heck. This is just the introductory twisting around armbar portion of the match, which ends up having Tony Thunder in a headlock, courtesy of Tyler Matthews. Ouch. So far, so good. We've had arm bars and leg locks and attempted submissions and escapes. Pretty much just classic wrestling. No shenanigans from either one. Currently, Tyler is with the advantage. Got Tony Thunder in a headlock, but Tony is elbowing his way out of it. Comes off the ropes, and he's right back into a chin lock. And Tyler takes him down to the mat so he can apply all of his body weight. But the power of the crowd helps Tony get to his feet. Escapes, he's off the ropes, and back into that chin lock one more time. Matthews had Tony Thunder in a pretty nasty total body neck hold. Don't know the fancy name for it. Tony Thunder rolled it over into an almost upside down figure 4. Tyler got out of that, but now he's clutching his ankle. And he is coming off the ropes to attack Tony Thunder. So the ankle must not be too bad. Or it was a ruse. Thunder is kind of groggy, and Matthews takes him up onto his shoulders. Thunder drops down. They're jostling for advantage. And off the ropes, Matthew with a roll-up. Oh, and he uses the tights. And those tights are only on there with, you know, the usual elastic for the sweatpants. And Tony Thunder was putting more effort into making sure his pants didn't reveal all than he was trying to get out of that 3 count. So Tyler Matthews almost takes advantage of Tony Thunder's wardrobe to secure the pinfall. Maybe Tony will reconsider his ring attire. Oh, that was a cheeky match. And I believe this next match is going to be a 4-way tag team match, so 8 people to make their way to the ring all together. So it's going to be a while until the match starts. Okay, the final team makes their way to the ring. How you been? It's been a while since I had this piped up with all these introductions. I mean, no introductions yet, just the music and the walks to the ring. The ring announcer hasn't even technically introduced these teams yet, but we got Funkin' Fresh, Shooters of the North, Just Business, and Spark of Madness. Good to see Sean Sparks back in the ring after his hand or wrist injury. And again, being a Cincinnati fan, thinking about wrist injuries just makes me sad. So a 4-way tag team match, 8 people involved altogether, maybe more if there are shenanigans. This is for the RCW Tag Team Championships. Richard Wright started the match off by trying to bribe the other opponents into taking the pinfall right away. Had his wad of supposed cash, waving it around. Now, I've been watching some old Mission Impossible episodes from the late 60s, and a recent one was about counterfeit money. So now I know a thing about counterfeit cash, and so I'm pretty sure that's what he had in there. There were no takers. We had a lot of chaos for a while people just slugged it out. Eventually it settled down, and the match is beginning properly with members of Funkin' Fresh and Shooters of the North in the ring. The original two have been in the ring for several minutes, which is fine by me because they've been doing some pretty wrestling. Both men giving and taking those suplexes in turn. Now the Shooters of the North tag in, and Mr. Funk tags in Sean Sparks, because in this match, being that there's 4 tag teams, you don't have to tag in your own partner. You can tag in somebody else's. The drawback to that is that now your team has nobody in the ring, and if a pinfall happens, you are not involved. Richard Wright has been tagged in, and he is picking on Sean Sparks, choking him in the ropes. There was a massive 7-way Russian leg sweep where one of the contestants was about to do a leg sweep to his opponent. The partner of his opponent came in and attached himself to the one about to deliver the leg sweep. And that pattern carried until everybody except Travesty was locked up in a row, everybody ready to Russian leg sweep each other. And instead of being number 8, he just gave a clothesline to the person on the end. And all 7 went down like dominoes. And now there are 4 or 5 people just laying in the ring after all that. Nobody's locking up. Oh, here comes Mr. Funk. A move kind of like the blunt force trauma. And now everybody is taking turns delivering a move until the next person runs into the ring. No tagging going on. The ref's okay with it, I guess. There's another BFT kind of move. And another one. Sean Sparks onto Giuseppe Gambini. But here comes Richard Wright with a boot to the jaw. This is just like a big wrestling square dance where one partner gets KO'd and another partner just comes in from a different corner. Everybody's getting blasted. Right now, the 2 members of Funkin' Fresh have Richard Wright down for a 3 count in the middle of the ring. And it looks like Funk and Fresh are the new RCW Tag Team Champions. The race is on to bring the belts out from the timekeeper's table. And after they got to celebrate for all of like 30 seconds, Funk and Fresh have just been attacked by another team that wasn't in the match, and they just run out from the back. I don't know who they are. One of them I've seen before, but I don't remember his name. So that's not helpful. But they have laid waste to the brand new tag team champions. And now they're holding onto the belts like they're the champions. I think they're staking their claim to be the #1 contenders. You know, it used to be taboo for people that aren't the title holders to touch the belts and carry them around. That doesn't seem to be a thing anymore. Thanks to some chanting from the crowd, I've been reminded that the team who came out and attacked Funk and Fresh is Twist and Flip. And I have seen them before a few times, mostly I think at Pro Wrestling King events, but they are regional. And I don't know if they've been at RCW before. And if not, they're making their presence felt right away. This next match is for the RCW Women's Championship. Champion Shauna Reed taking on challenger Ari Alexander. Ari Alexander trying to have a wrestling match. Shauna Reed has opened up her offensive arsenal, including a noogie, rubbing her knuckles into the forehead of Ari Alexander, and then a poke to the eye. But now she's showing her skill at falling down as she's taken over by hip tosses and arm drags. And now she rolls out of the ring to get away. Yeah, Ari allowed herself to be lured to the outside, at which point she was thrown into the ring post and stomped on. Almost got counted out, but she's staggering back up onto the apron. Shauna with a couple of pinfall attempts, neither one successful, but she's getting 2 counts, and then griping to the ref that it wasn't a 3 count, of course. It looks like she's trying to get Ari into a suplex, but Ari spins it around, goes for, whatever she was going for, it didn't work, and they both simultaneously kicked each other in the head. So now they're both down on the mat, the referee's counting. Up to 5, neither one is on her feet. And Shauna Reed grabs the referee and uses him as leverage to get to her feet. Ari upends Shauna Reed, and as Shauna Reed stands up, Ari hits her with a clothesline and another. Elbow in the corner. Somersaults her out into the center of the ring and kicks her under the jaw. And now Shauna's rolled outside to get away from it all. Ari comes towards the ropes. And a big missile dropkick through the ropes right onto Shauna Reed's head. And Shauna has, had Ari up on her shoulders like they were playing a game of chicken at a picnic. And then just gives her a flapjack face down onto the mat and gets the 3 count right after that. So Shauna Reed is still the RCW Women's Champion. The fifth match, I believe the final one before intermission, is a three-way. Isaiah Moore versus Alex Van Zant, currently the RCW Heart of the Revolution champion. And Jake Christ, and this match is for Jake Christ's Wrestling Revolver Championship. Christ and Moore exchange a gentlemanly handshake, and Van Zant just shoves their faces away when they approach him for the same. And the Sportsmen both chase Van Zant out of the ring together. And Van Zant up on the ring apron holding the rope, and they slingshot him in. And now they're taking turns slugging him. Let that be a lesson to you, kids. When you turn down sportsmanship, you get punched in the face, possibly by more than one person. Oh, but during the fracas with Van Zant, Isaiah Moore takes that opportunity to sneak up behind Chris and try to suplex him back towards the ring, but Chris ends up with the advantage, and he slings Moore out of the ropes. Jake Christ got slingshotted from underneath into the middle rope, right on the neck. So he is down in the corner, leaving Isaiah Moore and Alex Van Zant in the ring. And Van Zant is actually wrestling instead of running away or taking cheap shots. There's kind of a cheap shot. Moore was draped on the rope, middle rope, and Van Zant kicked the rope up into his throat. Christ has staggered his way back in, up into a suplex from Van Zant. There are a lot of faces getting mushed in this match. Normally DDTs are done with the forehead going down. Isaiah Moore gave one to Van Zant, who was draped over the second rope into the ring. Gave him a DDT-like move downwards, his face first into the mat. And then a couple moves later, Isaiah Moore was propped up in a corner. Jake Christ came running from the other side with his boot out, right across the mush. It's not a good day for noses and foreheads. Isaiah Moore just sprung himself up and into a position to take both men down off of the ropes into the center of the ring. So there are three people just kind of laying there. All the kids want Isaiah Moore to win. Moore with a thrust kick to Jake Christ. Kick to the back of Van Zant's head. Another thrust kick to Christ. Up onto his shoulders. And a huge brain buster from way up high. Oh, and as the ref was about to count the three, Van Zant from outside the ring reached in through the apron, across the apron, grabbed the ref's feet and yanked him out. And that crack was Van Zant blasting Isaiah Moore on the forehead with his plastic Starbucks cup. People in the front row just got a bath of some sort of pink concoction from Starbucks. And during the hullabaloo after that, Christ gets in there and rolls up Van Zant to a crucifix pin on his shoulders. And Chris retains his Wrestling Revolver Championship. That wraps up the first half of this show. 5 matches down, 5 to go. You're listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP, 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. Delayed audio coverage of Revolution Championship Wrestling's A Night to Remember from the Goodson Event Center in South Bend. Second half action coming up almost instantly.
You are listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana.
The second half of the show is getting underway. Anthony Lee versus Ashton Adonis. There's going to be a lot of power and mass getting thrown around in this one because they're both large. And so far, Anthony Lee is having the upper hand. Big shoulder tackle takedown, a whip into the corner. And there a suplex on Adrian Adonis up and out of the corner. And now Adonis is just skonkered out. He went to the floor to recover for a bit. Adonis just busted out a standing moonsault onto Anthony Lee, but did not get a 3 count out of it. I think both guys are over 6 feet. Adonis sort of kind of reminds me of Dijak. He's not as tall as Dijak, but just, overall build and shape. So a standing moonsault is not bad. He's rushing into Anthony Lee, who's in the corner, and Lee shoulders him up and out over the top rope to the apron. And then Adonis swings up with a leg and kicks him. And while Anthony is recovering, Adonis is now perched on the turnbuckle and leaps into the ring with a drop kick. Anthony Lee just dashed across the ring and gave an inverted cannonball to Adonis. Travesty has just waltzed out from the back through the curtain. He's looks like he's scoping out both guys. Adonis with a slingshot of Anthony Lee into the turnbuckle. Turnbuckle's forehead. Anthony Lee's forehead with the turnbuckle. I'm not going to edit that out. That was awesome. Anthony Lee is down, but he's face up. Adonis is looking to pin him, but he's also staring at Travesty at the same time, and Anthony Lee kicked out at 2. I don't know what Travesty's doing out here. Neither does Adonis, and now Adonis has come over to the closest corner to talk to Travesty and say, "What's up, dude?" Which gives Anthony Lee time to recover and come across with a big clothesline. I don't know why Travesty has business with Adonis. Looked like Lee was trying to get Adonis up into a DDT, and he kind of slipped out, but he did it again. And there's a 3 count. Would Anthony Lee have won if Travesty wasn't pacing around the ring? Well, we don't know. But Adonis can't be happy with Travesty coming out to distract him like that. The next match has Bacchus already in the ring, waiting for his opponent, Xander Bennett. And I don't want to, foretell doom for anybody, but yeesh, Xander has his work cut out for him. Perhaps his energy can make up for what he lacks in size as compared to Bacchus. Quickness as opposed to brawn. Or possibly it could just be a quick murder. Who knows? Yeah, Xander just came off the second rope turnbuckle. Jumped in a attempt at a splash onto Bacchus. Bacchus just caught him right out of the air, turned him around and slammed him down. Started to do a pinfall by just, resting his foot on Xander's shoulder. But then he thought better of it and just stepped away, so the ref broke the count, and now he's taking his time inflicting more damage on poor Xander, who gets flung into the turnbuckles. And now Bennett with Bacchus splashes into the corner and flips Bennett up and over. And instead of going for a pinfall, he picks Xander Bennett's head up off the mat so that he can inflict more punishment. Bennett rolls out of the ring. Bacchus is following. After inflicting a little bit of punishment up against the ring post, Bacchus just dismissively rolled Bennett back into the ring. Now he's got him in a twisting arm lock. Almost like a surfboard from a kneeling position on top of Bennett's back. This is where you start to hope that Bacchus doesn't get too cocky, and like right there, Bennett introduced his kneecaps to Bacchus's chin. A couple of splashes in the corner on Bacchus. Wrenching down, tries to pull him out of the corner for a slingshot, but Bacchus is just planting his feet and going nowhere. And he's the one that flings Bennett into the opposite corner. Bennett tries to escape. Standing on the apron, didn't make it, got clobbered. He did manage to do a Pele kick from the apron and stun Bacchus. So Bennett's up on the top, ready to leap in. Body press across Bacchus, but nope, only a 2 count. A quick 2 count, though. Yeah, and right now Bacchus has Bennett locked up in a hammerlock submission hold. Bennett taps. Bacchus tells him this is going to be good for you. So Bennett put up a good fight, but, it was what it was. Next up, we have Let Her Rip against Schwartzy. Of the 10 matches on the card, surely the pairing with the 2 oddest gentlemen. I don't know what to expect out of either one at this point. I mean, maybe it'll just be a regular wrestling match, but I'm skeptical. I have been proven wrong. The first thing that Let Her Rip did was go for a couple of pinfall attempts, including a sunset flip. I expected oddness. I got wrestling. Let's see what happens next, though. Yeah, instead of a lockup, Let Her Rip just stomps on Schwartzy's toes. Nwiwrap has invited Schwartzy to stop the match and just have a party instead. Both gentlemen have now left the ring and they're walking around chanting party. But Schwartzy has snuck back in the ring while Nwiwrap is over now by the concession stand. Schwartzy is helping the ref count it. He's encouraging the ref to count faster. And Nwiwrap rushes back to the ring to be greeted by 2 arm drag takedowns. And then a low bridge puts Nwiwrap up and over to the outside of the ring. Schwartzy looks like he's going to do a dive, a baseball slide, and he gets trapped inside the ring apron so that Nwiwrap can pummel him. And Schwartzy has disappeared. He went between the apron and the ring. Oh, Nwiwrap pulled him up from under the apron and rolls him back in. Well, this is awkward. Schwartzy and Nwiwrap both punched each other in the jaw at the same time. Knocked each other loopy, so they both kind of dropped their knees and sideways at the same time and in the same direction, and both of their heads collided with the ref below the belt. So the ref is now laying in a corner, clutching the delegates, and somehow both Schwartzy and Nwiwrap also were damaged. Right after that, I didn't catch how, because I was busy piping up the mics. So there are 3 people rolling around, clutching the old delegates in the ring. Now the 2 combatants are up and slugging it out with one hand each while protecting themselves with the other hand. Those punches don't have a lot of oomph to them. Well, Schwartzy has opened up a little more offense in the corner now. Some chops and punches. Well, that sort of came out of nowhere. Schwartzy yanked Nwiwrap backwards. Dropped the back of Nwiwrap's head on the mat, gets the pinfall. And, well, that was a match. Second to last match. Jackie Jester of Just Business against Jensen in her Death Rider persona. For this match, Just Business is banned from ringside, and they weren't going to leave until about 6 or 7 security members came out to drag them back through the ropes. And Jackie Jester starts off by throwing forearms at Jensen to no effect whatsoever.
Jackie's gonna die!
Jackie Jester is with the group Just Business, but Jensen is the one that seems to mean business here. She's throwing forearms and using her body weight and foot to choke Jackie Jester while she's down in the corner. So far, Jester has gotten 0 offense in. Jester turned things around a little bit by jumping out of the way as Jensen came rushing into the corner at her. Now she's throwing shoulder blocks into Jensen's midsection. And a bulldog out in the middle of the ring. Covers her for 1, 2, not 3. Jensen was going in for a spear on Jackie Jester, who dodged out of the way, and so Jensen ended up taking out the ref. And with no ref in the ring, The rest of Just Business have come in. But Funk and Fresh come out to clear them out again. So now Jensen and Jackie are left in the ring alone, but the ref is still down. And I missed it because it happened fast, but Jackie Jester was distressed at her partners being hauled to the back. Jensen took advantage, slammed her head into the mat, and got a 3 count. Jensen's finisher there was a tribute to Bray Wyatt, it looked like. Looked very much like a Sister Abigail, even with a little kiss to the forehead before she blasted Jackie Jester's forehead down into the mat. The main event is a tag team match. Theo Storm and Daniel Stark against the reunited Biggie Smalls, Brutus Dillon and Kevin Storm. Now the stipulation of this match is kind of strange. Kevin Storm is the RCW heavyweight champion right now. And apparently, whoever scores the pinfall in this tag team match becomes, or remains, depending, the RCW heavyweight champion. So, if Theo Storm or Daniel Stark pins Brutus Dillon, I mean, what are the chances of that, right? But if that happens, then the person that pins him becomes champion, and the actual champion right now not involved in the pinfall whatsoever. But apparently, if Brutus Dillon pins one of Stark or Storm, he becomes RCW heavyweight champion, even though he's on the winning team. The title would transfer from Storm to Dillon, I think. So we'll just have to see what happens here. I wonder if Brutus Dillon can have a sneak attack and pin Kevin Storm, even though Storm's on his own team, and get the championship that way. Lots of permutations here. We'll just see how it goes. Storm and Stark, Theo Storm, I guess I have to be more precise, and Stark were outside the ring, huddled up together. Brutus Dillon split the ropes apart so that Kevin Storm could do a tope to the outside and take them both out. Kevin Storm rolled Theo Storm back in, and now Brutus Dillon is picking on Theo. And he tags in Kevin, so Kevin can do some damage for a bit. So yeah, the stipulations of this match being kind of strange. Brutus Dillon was about to pin Theo Storm, and it looked like Kevin Storm was about to jump in the ring and break up the pinfall that his own tag team partner had on the opponent. Because if Dillon pins Storm, Dillon takes over the RCW championship. Double team Storm and Dillon on other Storm. Storm, Theo kicks out at 2. And Kevin Storm was very quick to be sure he was the one that jumped on top of Theo Storm for the pin. Theo Storm delivered a wicked clothesline onto Kevin Storm. It took him a while to get back and set up the pinfall, and only got a 2 count out of it. Now Theo is pounding and chopping away on Kevin. Theo goes and tags in Daniel Stark. Again, I don't know why you would tag in a tag team partner, because now the tag team partner can pick up the championship. I mean, unless you were in dire need of escaping the ring. Ooh. Very rapid suplex there from Stark to Storm. Theo Storm just delivered a vicious spinning elbow to Kevin Storm. Went for the pinfall. Daniel Stark started to come in to break up the pinfall because of that weird stipulation, and that kind of angered Theo Storm. And that chop you heard was not Theo Storm chopping one of his opponents, but smacking his own tag team partner really hard to tag him in. And again, if you're already mad at the guy for coming in to try to break up the pinfall, why would you tag him in so that he could potentially now get the pinfall? It has been a long time since Kevin Storm got out of the ring. He is not tagged out for quite a while. He's getting pulled to his feet by Daniel Stark. Stark is throwing elbows at Storm. Whip into the ropes. Storm ducks the clothesline afterwards once, twice, and then delivers his own clothesline, but that took every last bit of strength he had, so now he's just laying on the mat, just like Daniel Stark. Each dude is slowly staggering towards his corner for a tag. And they both make it. Poor Theo Storm getting slugged by Brutus Dillon, who's sharing by giving clotheslines to both of the opponents. All four men are in the ring. Referee doesn't care. Dillon is trying to pin Daniel Stark. And his own partner, Kevin Storm, leaps on him to break up the pinfall. While Storm and Dillon are hollering at each other, Theo Storm comes in with kicks for both of them. He's going for his springboard cutter, but Brutus Dillon gets in the way and takes one for Kevin Storm. And as he turns around, Daniel Stark with a spinning DDT onto Dillon, but Dillon rolls out of the ring. Stark and Kevin Storm left alone. Kevin Storm with a big slug. Whips Stark into the ropes and now has him in an upside down crucifix kind of position and brings him over for a knee lift into the forehead. Sort of a go to sleep type of maneuver, but Kevin Storm gets that pinfall. And Kevin Storm finishes the year. Still RCW Heavyweight Champion. And that's it. After 3 hours of wrestling, the rush for the door begins. Bacchus has snuck into the ring. He's standing behind Kevin Storm. He may be staking his claim to be the next contender. He's snapping his fingers like he's telling Kevin Storm he's going to put him out like a light. Storm's ready for an impromptu match right now. Bacchus is going to bide his time. This has been a night to remember. Revolution Championship Wrestling from the Goodson Event Center in South Bend, Indiana. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, reporting, sort of, for WVLP and the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. This is WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. Hope you're ready for some good holidays. I think... Wait, no, I've got one more wrestling event for the year, I hope. going to cover Acme Championship Wrestling, having a fundraiser for an elementary school in early December, so we probably have one last wrestling action program here on WVLP lined up before the end of the year. Thanks for tuning in. Never change the dial.